I used to think that hitting a six-figure net worth would give me peace, knowing that I finally have enough money. But in reality, when I got there, it just left me feeling empty. And as somebody who's been obsessed with money throughout his 20s, I thought that hitting that $100,000 milestone would give me a feeling of achievement and financial security, but that feeling of abundance that I was looking for, it doesn't come from the things that money can buy. And the Bible told me this long before I had to learn it the hard way.
He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This also is vanity.
When you set money at the center of your life, it's never going to feel like enough, because when you have 100K, then you're going to set the goal to $1 million, and then that $1 million goal turns to 10 million, and it just never stops, because chasing wealth is like sprinting on a treadmill where you're trying as hard as you can, but ultimately there's no finish line. So at some point you need to define what is enough for you, because if you don't, then you're just going to keep sprinting until you die. And I thought that $100,000 was going to solve all my problems and that my life would be easy. But about 5 months later, I went through one of the most difficult periods of my life, losing a loved one. And there's no price that I wouldn't pay to have my daughter's life back. But Psalm 49:7 says that truly no man can ransom another or give to God the price of his life. The worst part about this, though, is that it was completely unexpected. My wife had gone in a couple times because of decreased fetal movement, but the doctors just reassured us because she was still moving and her heartbeat was strong until the day that she was supposed to be born. And the night before my wife was having a lot of pain, she told me that she felt like she was dying. Not my daughter inside of her, but my wife herself felt like she was dying. So the next morning she went in expecting to deliver our baby girl. And I got the phone call at 10 a.m. and I overheard the doctor saying that they couldn't see Elizabeth moving on the ultrasound anymore, so they had to check her heartbeat. Then I got a call 10 minutes later, and she was gone. But I can rest assured that right now she is sitting in the Lord's presence and singing his praises with joy, with all the angels around her, and she's in a moment that all of us are longing for. And it took us a while to get here, but the Lord can provide abundance even in our darkest times. Money can't provide that peace, though. There's nothing that we could have bought to take away the pain from losing our daughter. The only way that we were able to get through the next 6 months of grieving was by just taking that pain to the Lord and giving it to him so that we could have abundance and joy by confiding in him and his promise to us that we will have eternal life and we will see her again. And as hard as this experience was for me, I'm kind of glad that it happened early in life before I spent the next 4 decades working overtime to save up money for my grandchildren to use God knows how. Because there's no amount of money that I could spend at the end of my life to buy back that time that I missed with my family. And life is just so finite. And abundance truly comes from living every day the way that God has called us to.
For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
And my treasure is in the Lord first, my family, my church, and at the very end of the line is my net worth and the things that money can buy. Because ultimately, those things I'm buying can only make me happy for maybe a few days. It's just cheap dopamine. And of course you could spend money on going on nice vacations and building memories that last a lifetime, but I feel like I can get the same amount of joy by just being present every day with my wife and my 3-year-old and watching her dance to Christmas carols that I can get by going to the Bahamas. And then I don't have to worry about packing my clothes and if my flight's gonna get delayed. I can just put my phone away after 6 p.m. and not have to stress about anything. And I feel like this is one of the greatest life hacks that my family has started in the last few months, is just putting our devices away after 6 p.m. and being intentional with our time together. And it's brought me way more joy every single day than I can get by spending thousands of dollars and waiting months for the next vacation. I can have happiness and abundance now by just being in the present with my family and with God. And I feel like whenever you make money the focus of your life, then it's hard to be in the present because you're thinking about that financial goal. And like we said earlier, it's like sprinting on a treadmill where it's just never going to end for you.
Better is a handful of quietness than 2 handsful of toil and a striving after wind.
If I was given the choice between a minimum wage job that actually gives me a life outside of work or $1 million salary that I get no time to spend with my family, I'm choosing my family 10 times out of 10 because the memories that I would miss out on by spending all of my time at work are completely invaluable. There's no price that you can put on the time that you spend with the people that you love. But when you chase money, you're never going to feel fulfilled. You reach one financial milestone and then you set your sights on the next. And this goalpost is never gonna stop moving until you tell it to. And at this point in your life, you already have enough. If you are alive today, God has already given you enough to sustain you. So be where your feet are, being grateful for what you already have in the life that God has gifted you. But this video isn't all to say that we shouldn't try to build our wealth and that it's wrong. In fact, the Bible gives us plenty of principles for building wealth, but we shouldn't make it the focus of our life. Instead, we need to focus on God, we need to focus on the people that we love, and we need to focus on the things that really matter, because at the end of the day, wealth isn't going to give you abundance. So try to build your wealth, just don't focus on it. And if you want to know the biblical principles that I use to save up my first $100,000, make sure to check out the video in the corner, and I'll see you over there.